Inflation moderating slightly last month, but that doesn't mean your wallet isn't still hurting from some rising costs. The inflation rate remains above the Fed's 2% target. So, how can you combat inflation at every stage of life? To break it all down for us, we've got Kelli Smith, Edelman Financial Engine's Financial Planning Director, here with us. Hey, Kelli, good to see you. So, people across different age portions of the economy right now trying to understand, okay, what is the best financial positioning that I can employ to help me outlast high costs, especially if it's some of the stickier services side on housing and energy that we've seen? What are some of the effective strategies that you've seen?
Yeah, good morning. It's really important to understand that the best way to combat inflation is to get out in front of it. I understand that we're in a position now in the economy where not everybody has had that luxury of doing the planning, but it's really important when you are preparing for inflationary environments that you are saving. It's so important to build that emergency savings. Depending on where you are in your up toward retirement, you want to make sure that you've done retirement planning, retirement savings, maximizing those and minimizing debt where possible.
And so with that in mind, I mean, we're taking a look at some of the top tips here and building a cash reserve. What is that new figure or a good percentage basis even to keep in mind when starting to build up that cash reserve?
It's a little bit different for everybody. When I'm working with my clients, it really just depends on their personal situation. A single income household is going to probably have a little bit more cash reserve need than a double income household. If you have more children, if you're paying for childcare, you probably want more cash reserves just to make your basic ends meet. So I really sit down and encourage people to sit down and calculate if you are going to be unemployed or in an inflationary environment, for 3, 6, 12 months, what would it look like? What would you need in order to maintain your cost of living, your standard of living during those months?
What about those who are already either marching towards retirement, have said, this is my date, I'm ready to be there, come hell or high water by November or by October, maybe even earlier. They're ready to be retired, or perhaps even those that are in retirement and you're seeing some of the effects of inflation kind of biting away at some of those savings.
Well, that is really a concern of a lot of my clients who are near or in retirement already. And we really want to focus on at that point, assuming we've done the planning, and hopefully we've done the planning, we want to make sure that our expectations are flexible. Sometimes we can't control what happens in the world around us. So if we can think about if we can downsize a little bit, can we reduce expenses? Another big one is really helping keep control over how much we give to adult children and how we spend in those ways on our discretionary expenses. So I think it's very important to change behaviors where needed, but really to have flexible mindset. Reducing debt's a big one, and sometimes going back to work is an option as well.
And then just lastly, since you mentioned going back to work, there are some people that are, freshly getting into the workforce. We're at college graduation season here, as they're setting themselves up and preparing a financial mindset for planning for the future. What is the number one thing that they can employ as they're starting to hop into the workforce?
Well, there's so many. The first thing is have a plan.
Yeah.
Having a plan means that you're going to be able to calculate how much you need to save for the long term, how much emergency savings you have, and in other ways it's going to help you combat inflation over time. Making sure you are not accumulating any sort of debt, and especially credit card debt, which tends to really blow up during those inflationary periods. But having a plan, controlling your spending, have very good expectations or moderate expectations about your lifestyle at that point. So that way you are really on a saving and spending path that going forward will help you develop those emergency savings and combat this inflation going forward.
Kelli Smith, Edelman Financial Engine's Financial Planning Director. Kelli, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you.